Streaming from Madison, Wisconsin and Minneapolis, Minnesota. Straight to your personal devices. Available on all major platforms and YouTube. This is the Armchair Analysts Podcast. And here are your hosts, Ace and Johnny.
What's up, y'all? We got a big episode for you guys today. A lot of stuff to cover, and not all the time in the world to cover it. So we'll get the clock starting, won't we, Ace?
Whoop! Yeah, we will.
Get your Bermanism for the day. All right. Let's just go over. We got a lot of different stuff. A lot of exciting stuff to talk about. Start off random rant, Obvi. Regional roundup. We got Wild. We got Bucks. We got Twins.
It's a lot.
Yes, Minnesota State. Michigan State.
Yeah, regionally.
A little bit of Packers stuff. We'll go more into the Bucks in the finals. We'll obviously have to talk about your boy Stephen A. Smith and his comments about Mr. Ohtani. Got to cover the Trilogy Fight with McGregor and Poirier.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. And then Ace is gonna file some retribution against me and round 2 of the either-or game, this time featuring Packer players for me to pick.
I like this.
Clip of the week, Giannis, when he gets compared with Michael Jordan, which I thought was absolutely hilarious and humble simultaneously. And the big topic for the week, Ace is going to be talking about the All-Star week, his grievances, his gripes, and comments.
How long we can keep it positive.
It's your segment, man. We'll see. If you want to get pissed off right away to start and just start talking about Manfred and your tirade with him, I mean, that's fine too. But
yeah, as much as our friends, we have a group chat conversation. It's like, I wonder how much of that throughout the show almost translates into what we talk about.
I mean, that's part of the experience, though, right? Like the conversations I have with my coworkers, the conversation I have with my friends, the conversations I have with just fans in general. Just at a bar, like all of it kind of impacts my overall outlook and perception of things. So sometimes it makes me.
Speaking of, we could do an either or with the celebrity softball game, or who the hell you know.
Unfortunately, I don't have TikTok installed on my phone, so I probably don't know a lot of the influencers. But I mean, whatever. All right, random rant time. This is something that I've been kind of torn with, especially since the Bucks are doing so well this season. Obviously, I couldn't go to a playoff game in the bubble. I went in 2019. I went to a playoff game this year. Try to get to at least a couple games per year if possible. COVID made that a little difficult, obviously. But I think just in general, I'm going to kind of speak to myself here and then maybe just kind of get your opinion. I think we have very opposing views on this. So, my topic really is, spending money for experiences, right? And obviously COVID has kind of changed that perception because we weren't able to do that, right? You were just kind of watching it, or you just kind of had, it was a general absence. Like it just didn't happen for a lot of months. But I've always been a big fan of,
Everyone hit a reset button, so to speak.
Pretty much, but I think the bigger thing was that there was that void there, right? So like you heard me. Remember I was talking about scaling the facade of Lambeau just to get into a game. Like for a number of years I averaged at least 3 to 4 Packer games per year. Maybe a preseason game, which also very nice. Going to a football game in summer where you can wear tank top and shorts.
Look at this guy.
That's pretty nice.
Preseason. I went to a game with him once, actually.
You did? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. So that's my perspective is like I'm willing to spend that kind of money for that experience. I'm willing to spend that kind of money to spend time with friends, family, whoever, what have you. But I think it comes to a whole different perspective when it's like, okay, someone asked me like, hey, I actually was approached like, hey, like we have an opportunity to get finals tickets here. They're like $650 a pop, center court, inner bowl, and I was like. I mean, it's hard. Like it really made me think. Like $650 is not a ton of money, but if you consider, I mean,
what you have coming up.
Yeah, well, not even talking about the wedding or anything like that. Obviously, playing a big factor in this. Don't get me wrong, but an average ticket, like for a football game, I mean, depending on your seat, you're looking at maybe like 140 to 200, right? For a regular season game. For the Nets game, I think I paid like 180 maybe, something like that. Maybe a little bit less. And like all of a sudden now it's like 650. Like again, like I still considered it. Like it wasn't astronomical. But I don't know. Like it gave me pause. Like I'm like, I hesitated, and that game's on Saturday, so it's probably, those tickets are probably gone already. But like
I don't oppose you as much as you would think.
I don't know, but like
agree
that's the kind of thing. It's like where's the line? Like for me, like I probably, like if he asked me again, I probably would have said yes. Shit.
Oh really?
If he hears that.
Hey, think about it. Think about it, and I'll get back to you at 10 a.m. on Thursday.
I mean, honestly, like
I don't know why
it would be such a great experience, and honestly, it's been 40 some years since the Bucks were in the finals last. It would be a very lasting memory. It would be a fantastic experience. I would be going with some very good friends.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like it seems like a lot, But
see, I think in that context, wouldn't you rather spend $600 on an NBA Finals game than $140 to go to a regular season NFL game? Or frankly, wouldn't you pay $130 courtside at an NBA game?
I mean, you can't get courtside for 130, but
during a regular season game, what would it? Okay, so it's even. So I would, man, not to sway you, but I would try to go.
See, that's kind of what I'm thinking. It's like, it's just how I feel. But you know what? Some people, I know a ton of people that are diehard fans, have been fans for all their lives, but they would rather sit in their leather chair with their surround sound system, with the beer in the fridge and the wings in the oven, kind of thing. Like it's all perspective. So I don't know. I was just kind of curious what your thought would be on that.
I think it's different when the moment is that high, so to speak. Like I wouldn't. God, even some of our games, our college basketball games, going to see those teams play in high pressure situations was so much more rewarding because it seemed like it was always a close game, even if it was somewhat of a blowout, at least it was somewhat entertaining. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I can watch the game, but I feel like the experience in the game is a little more forgettable. Correct. I don't know. I'm really torn on, and now I'm really tempted if those tickets are still available, but I highly doubt that they are. So hopefully that will prevent me. But that's the thing. It's like it's $650 for the ticket. I live an hour and a half away. Parking.
Do you remember?
I'm not even gonna be able to afford to drink. Really, I mean that's.
What do you remember about the Hawks? Do you remember like any basketball moments? Because I feel like sometimes
the Hawks. I went first when they played the Nets.
Or the Nets. Sorry. Do you remember any moments?
Oh, like, hell yeah.
Okay, because I'm saying sometimes I have the feeling like when you're there, there's almost too much excitement around.
It's overstimulation to the max for sure. But the thing is, it's like you're unified as a crowd. Like most of the time, I mean, it's going to be predominantly the fans of the home team, right? So I just remember like we were up by like 9 at the half, but we were super pissed off because the refs. Every time Harden got looked at, he got a foul called. Like there was just a lot of moments, like key moments in that game. Like there was a moment like where Durant hit 3 shots in a row. I'm like, okay, this is scary now. This is scary. We need to clamp down. Like there's certain points that you remember in a game, whether you're there or not. But being there, I feel like, and it's just something, a memory for down the road. Like when I'm talking to Zach Wolfman, your boy, when I'm talking to him, like, hey, do you remember? Like every playoff game I've went to was with him. So that's kind of cool. But I don't know. Just if you get the chance and you're like me, go to the game. If you're not spending X amount on a wedding in a couple months, go to the game. All right. For Roundup, we will talk more about the Bucks in detail. I know that Ace had tons of amazing Minnesota news to share, so I'll let him take it away.
Well, the Wild officially have gotten rid of 2 veterans that have been on the team since I think 2004 they signed, or sorry, 2012. They signed July 4th together, honestly. So 8 years ago, they both signed, or I guess 9 technically season-wise. They both signed like basically similar year contracts. I think it was either 12 or 13 years. So they still had 4 years left on the deal. And for over $100 million each. It was kind of insane at the time, I thought. And though they were productive in the regular season, there really wasn't much to show in the postseason. I think Suter, being a defenseman, got a lot. Like it was more shocking he got cut, but both reasons are to save on the salary cap, unfortunately, which we know all too well with football and other
Cap
frickin'
casualty.
Yeah, or the luxury tax in baseball, which to me is a freaking joke. These guys are billionaires. The Yankees pay a luxury tax every year. Same with the Dodgers.
Only for the last 40 years, though. It's not that big a
deal. Yeah, every year. So not to get off on a tangent, but it's sad to see them go, especially Suter, because like I said, he was the one that has been playing at a higher level still. I think actually a good interview was Paul Allen interviewing Zach Parise, I think, this afternoon. And he was candid in saying basically, yeah, I think I kind of saw the writing on the wall, but we were shocked that Ryan Suter actually got let go. So it was humbling, but they both were productive. I saw Parise, no flex here, but I saw him at a grocery store once. Didn't say hi or anything, but
Cub Foods?
I didn't really feel like, no, this is high class. I think it was Lund's Byerly's.
Oh, sorry. I don't know what the hell that is.
Some co-op too. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, point is they were both on. Parise was on Nashville before this, so they only had 2 teams in their careers. They're unrestricted free agents, so it's likely they'll probably sign somewhere. But honestly, I don't know if you watched any of the Stanley Cups, but I really didn't much. But the game is just so fast though, so they couldn't. Being veterans, mid 30s, it's almost who knows if they'll get signed. I think Suter for sure will.
Did I watch the Stanley Cup Finals when the Bucks were about to make the NBA Finals?
God. Does Aaron pay it? No. So yeah, the Wild parting ways with 2 of their vets, longtime vets.
Whew. Man, that's a heart-wrenching tale.
Yeah.
But you got new blood though on the Twins.
Oh. That is a great point. Great segue. Thank you.
Out with the old, in with the new. And what's the rule? New is always better. Boom.
Oh, God. No kidding. Although, when you still have a crappy pitching coach, no offense.
And a bad manager. And
a bad man. Yeah. Do you think that's really going to matter? Ooh, although the first pick we had so we had 2 first-round picks in the draft, one of which, the shortstop, the second pick was from Ozaki High School.
What? Are you serious?
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but yeah, Noah Miller. He's like a skinny dude that plays shortstop but can hit the ball, a switch hitter. Damn. Doesn't have much power, they said, but I mean, frankly, honestly, we just need somebody that can play defense and get on base.
Small world.
Yeah. So
I'm getting married at Ozaki Country Club. I spent high school and mostly just high school in Ozaki County, so that's actually pretty neat.
Yeah, so I thought you would like that, given that you sort of crapped down the the Twins as a team, or I should say.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, but I'm just teeing off what you're talking about. That's fine.
Yeah, but the guy we picked first in the first round, I think 26th, and Noah Miller was 36th, the 26th draft pick. A guy named Chase Petty. He is from New Jersey and 18. Both are high schoolers. This dude has all the charisma to be a stud. I might buy a jersey whenever he signs with whatever club.
You own no Twins jerseys. You own no Twins apparel.
Exactly. But this dude, last name Petty. Oh, I don't even know if the lineage is there with Tom. Obviously, Tom Petty.
He looks like a heartbreaker. He looks like a heartbreaker.
I had to watch some film on both of them after the draft just to recap. And he has the highest rated velocity on his fastball, over 102.
Ooh.
I think he's got 103 indoors, they said. It's just insane, the talent that he's got. He's got 3 good pitches, the slider and a changeup to go with the fastball. But he's just his demeanor and his personality fits stud. So I really hope it freaking turns out and they don't fail him.
Who is the last player that Aaron endorsed that might have been on the Vikings that might have went to jail?
Uh-oh.
Mr. Gladney. Mr. Gladney. Oh, no. Or whatever his name was. Oh, this guy's different. There you go. All right. Yeah. That's right. Move along with the punches.
What picks did you even pay attention to the Brewers draft? I know you said you're single focused. Yeah, okay.
I sound like a broken record, but I'm paying attention to the Brewers just enough to know what's going on.
What else?
I've not watched a full Brewers game in probably a week and a half, maybe more.
That's criminal.
How is that criminal? The Bucks are in the finals. Look at this
That is.
shirt, bro. Fear the deer, son.
Larry, hey, speaking of criminal, no.
Oh, yeah, the segment. There you go. Do it.
Larry Nassar. There's some documents released on more of an audit on how the DOJ the FBI handled the case for the Michigan State. So he worked as like a what would you consider strength physician? I don't know what doctor, I guess. Yeah, doctor for the yeah, that too for the Michigan State gymnastics team, and then obviously helped at the Olympic level. Dude's a creep, in jail for the rest of his life. If not,
maybe not after this. There, but not after this.
There's documents released about the handling of the FBI in this case, and it was not good for them. They got bashed, and I mean, I don't know if this goes anywhere, frankly. I assume there's maybe resignations, perhaps, or a shakeup just to like make notice of things, but who knows? It's just kind of shocking to think that this existed for
years,
some time, yes, and was not taken seriously or was kind of dismissed in a manner. And it's tough to look at it now in hindsight and realize what the hell happened or heck happened. But yeah, it was terrible when it came out, and you even heard whispers of it before the courts came down and slammed them with everything. But this is the whole criminal case, or the whole civil cases, and the fact that the poor victims actually had to testify in this case was kind of crazy. And the fact that not only the FBI but Michigan State University, there's likely had some cover up with this too. It's just not a good look in general.
Not a good look.
No. You know what is a good look?
So there was a recent interview with Mr. Rodgers and his neighborhood, just asking, what his plans are, as he's been asked probably a quadrillion times this offseason.
Is this breaking news?
And then, no, I'm not a rat-faced person reporting anything, but he did say that he would enjoy his time off, he'd enjoy his vacation, and he would re-examine things in about a couple weeks. In about a couple weeks would put you roughly at July 28th, which is the start of Packers training camp.
Oh,
I don't know. That's everyone's been saying that if he's traded, if he's released, if he does the silver bullet, not Coors, but if he like opts out for the season, yada yada. All of these deadlines have passed. All of these things have passed.
Yeah.
He's forfeited some money by missing mandatory minicamp. Whatever. Dude's 38. He probably wouldn't want to go to practice either if it didn't matter. It kind of stinks because it's like it would be nice to see him, throw the ball to Funchess, who hasn't played in almost 2 full years, or the rookie Amari Rodgers, who hasn't caught a ball from him in his entire life. But that being said, July 28th, if we're going down the Rodgers deadlines, of when stuff's going to happen, that's next.
He'll be there.
I've said it from the beginning. I've been worried. I started to waver a little bit, but if he's not, nothing I can do about it. So I'm not going to die. I'll be pretty pissed off, sure. But that is that. All right. Let's get into this whole Fear the Deer thing here, because I'm not just wearing this shirt for fun. Game 4 is tonight. By the time you listen to it, I'll either be elated and celebrating, or I'll be crying and depressed.
Yeah, that's a tough hole.
Ooh, phrasing. But I think I just want to talk a little bit about how, obviously going down 2-0 to the Suns, to start off the series is a daunting task. They're a very talented team, very deep team, very well coached team. Monty Williams doing an amazing job. They've turned that franchise around in what seems like no time at all. So there is hope for the Vikings and for the Twins in that regard, but we can't all have a Monty Williams. Some of us have, a Mike Budenholzer, and we're doing our best to do what we can. That being said, this is like what is it? Unstoppable force meets the immovable object. You have a team in the Suns that's amazing on the road. You have a team, the Bucks, who is absolutely amazing at home. Something had to give. Bucks, it was a dismantling of what looks like a championship caliber Suns team.
They needed it. They did.
It was a confidence booster. I think a lot of people, even the players, were saying, like, the series doesn't really start until a team loses a home game, right? And so far, 3 games in, it hasn't happened. The home team's won every game. Bucks, historically, at least in the playoffs, have done very well at home as of late. So that's always a good sign. The fact that I'm not trying to toot Budenholzer's horn too much, but he actually had a legit game plan, and he kind of stuck to it, and it actually worked. It was nice to see Holiday turn it around. He looked pretty gun-shy in the first 2 games. He looked like a player that didn't have a real purpose. Came out, almost had a double-double game 3. Giannis has put back-to-back 40-plus point games. Double-doubles, just playing out of his mind. Actually, I was uncomfortable at how many free throws he made, too, in game 3. If I'm being completely honest, like it looked like I was like a young... no, I can't say this. It was like I was looking at something that I wasn't supposed to see. I was like, what is this? This is what...
Wait, what did... Oh,
this,
God.
It was...
I don't even...
No, not even going there. We're moving on. It was just so... He was making him at a clip. Literally, when we went to that Nets playoff game, my buddy was nudging me. He's like, I guarantee Giannis makes both these free throws. And I think I talked about this on the show, and he did not win that bet. He double or nothing probably like 7 times, and it never happened. He would make either 1 of 2 or 0 of 2. And went 13 of 17 from the line, which is absolutely fantastic, regardless of how he's done before or how anyone else is doing. And compared to how the Suns were playing, that was more than enough. So it would have been nice to see him get a little more rest. But I mean, they have a lot of days in between each game, so not worried about him because he did look a little gassed. And I know you were bringing that up because you make fun of him because he's Greek and he eats a lot of gyros and stuff, so he gets tired. But I mean, that's neither here nor there, right?
Hey, rice in the gyro or the falafel. No, not the falafel. What's the bread? The naan or the pita bread? That's
pita. Greeks have pita. Come on.
Gosh. So
read a book, kid.
Would you have to guess over or under 57% from the free throw line this playoffs?
For whom?
For Giannis.
What he's at or what I think he'll end up at?
What he's at right now. Over under 57%.
Just for the whole playoffs or just the series?
I believe what I'm looking at is whole playoffs.
Whole playoffs? I has to be under then.
57.1.
Ah, you
wasn't even
piece
really
of crap.
Fair. I was gonna
say just over 50 if we're lucky, but that again, going 13 to 17 definitely inflated those numbers. So
CBSSports.com reported that, and they reported that he's also slowly getting quicker.
Oh, game three, not the opposing fan count where they go like 1, 2, 3, like actual real time. I mean, he's chucking him up at like 8 seconds now, 9 seconds. So
okay.
I'm impressed. But that's the worst part. It's like, why would you take 13 seconds to high up a free throw that you're gonna airball like that? It's painful. Or you take that long, right? You take like 5 practice swings, and the thing is, he gets like a imaginary free throw before he even gets the ball. So really, it's more like 16, 17 seconds per free throw. I don't know. Initially, I thought he was doing it just to kind of give himself extra time to rest, but I don't know. So that being said, I did kind of like what you brought up before we started recording about maybe not flipping the script, but I think everything was so pro Chris Paul and so pro Suns. I don't know if that's just because they're the bigger market of the two. I don't know if that's because the CP3 storyline is so tantalizing. I'm not really sure what it was, but after Giannis put up 40 points back-to-back, I think the focus is solely on him now. Chris Paul playing okay in Game 3. Watching Booker flounder was probably the most confusing thing because that guy is either going to be straight up an assassin, or he's just another middling.
I think
guard.
I think he has a good game. The one you got to stop, obviously, is Chris Paul. He's the one that sets the tempo, and if Drew can disrupt him again, and they did a better job of switching off the ball with him too. And it's Booker and him can both. Well, more so Booker can get it. He's like Steph Curry. He doesn't need the ball in his hands as much, or Klay Thompson. Really, you come off screens, crap like that. But then he can dribble, drive too. So he can play ISO as well. So he's going to get his points. I think Chris Paul trying to get to his spots, you got to stop that first and foremost.
I would say yes in most cases. I will say no for Game 4 because it looked like the impact that we had on DeAndre Ayton was a lot bigger. He got into foul trouble very, very early, and you got to remember they already lost one of their bigs. So who got more playing time? Frank Kaminsky, and seeing him in there, seeing old Frank the Tank in there against Giannis or against Brook was.
How tall is Kaminsky? Because
I think he's 6'11". I think he's 6'11". I'm pretty sure.
Giannis still looks wow.
Frank is listed at 7 foot 240. So take that for what you will. Regardless, I wouldn't want that matchup in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, CP3 obviously. But the thing is, he's gonna hurt you more with his passing game. He's gonna hurt you more with ball movement. He's gonna get shots, but. You know what? That 40-point aberration of a game to close out the Clip series, that's not happening. That's not his norm. So Booker's the one that I'd be worried about, but he was off. He'll come back, no doubt. But just their role players, limiting them, and I think Ayton, for whatever reason, like he's not a big dude. Like you've seen Giannis just muscle him out of the way, to score, and I think now like Giannis I think there might have been a little bit of hesitation too coming back off that injury. He's had some time. He's played on it multiple games now. I think he's a lot more comfortable in it, and it kind of shows because he's getting progressively better.
That's exactly what I was going to say, which is so shocking that because most people, that injury, I don't know how long most people would be out, but that looked nasty.
If that happened to a normal human who did not have rubber bands in their knees, they're done for the season. Like
whatever his diet is, sign me up for that. Because if I did that to my knee,
I told you, dude, it's just gyros. All he eats is fucking gyros. All right, enough Bucks. We'll see what happens game 4. I'm excited, predicting a win. Maybe not double digit because I feel like since Monty is a fantastic coach that's got him this far, he will make adjustments. He will get his players back in the game. Be much closer, but I'm still predicting a Bucks win. 2-2, bring it back to Phoenix, and that's when the real series starts, right? Then it's a best of 3, 0-0, right?
They got to get one. They got to get one there.
Got to. All right. Yep. So this was a big story a couple days ago. It came up in my work Slack channel first. Stephen A. Smith, he made a comment. Obviously, we want to talk about the All-Star game.
Yes.
Basically, Ohtani has made a huge impact in Major League Baseball. He's become face of the franchise. He's become an A-list player. And, he was featured in the Home Run Derby. He's going to be the starting pitcher for the AL. So, he's very, very high-profile player, correct?
Oh, yeah. They've marketed him like crazy.
And that's the thing. It's like he's got a good story. It's hard not to like the kid, right? So then Stephen A. Smith, who, you know what, I still believe that him and Skip are paid to make ridiculous comments, but at times he says things that are over the line, and this is one of those cases. I'm paraphrasing here, but he said that Ohtani, he should not be at the face of baseball, mainly because he has a translator. English, not his second language, not his third language, not even a language he's comfortable speaking, obviously, since he uses a translator, and because of that, it detracts from his likability, it detracts from his marketability. Clearly not true. The dude's in the All-Star game. That's a fan-voted game. That's not true. So needless to say, it's pretty messed up, but I think I'm glad he issued the apology. I'm sad that he had to do it in the first place and he made that comment about Ohtani, but I don't know.
Ignorant.
A little bit, and for someone that's been so, excitable about every other type of, racial comment, it's weird that he would make one, I guess. I don't know.
And he's honestly sort of polarizing in this social media crazed world too at this point. Sadly.
Yeah, which is I think that's part of his gig, right? Like that's part of his job. True. That's why he has a job, is because he makes those comments. But I don't know. I felt like this one definitely crossed the line. It seems that even former colleagues of his are speaking out and agreeing with me. So, all right, let's cover the fight real quick. McGregor-Poirier. I felt in my heart that it was Dustin. Was destined to win.
I did too when I said McGregor. I don't know why.
I don't know. We can talk a little bit about the ending of the fight and kind of what you thought, but I mean personally, I don't understand. I know it's McGregor's personality, but I don't understand. Even while laying on the ground, while they're getting his foot put in the brace to get him off the mat, he was still just talking shit relentlessly. like relentlessly, talking about, you know, Poirier's wife sliding to his DMs, all that kind of stuff. Like, dude, like he would not have won that fight. Like, McGregor going on into later rounds, like, that's not his jam. He takes you out in the first few minutes in convincing style. I mean, if it goes the distance, even the commentators were saying that, like, Dustin he's more finely tuned for that. Like, that's his game, is playing the long one. So, I don't know. We don't have to talk a bunch about it, but it just, maybe an anticlimactic ending, but, like, I don't think McGregor was winning that first round. If there was only one round to judge, he lost. I mean,
he got taken down, and even some of the blows he gave were all really decent strikes. He never, any of those kicks, I mean, he probably broke that on one of the kicks, I think, on whatever the case, that's how he broke his foot, I think, initially. Or
I think most people were feeling that, like, on one of the checks, he actually, like, kind of softened it up, and all of a sudden the tibia just like, nope, I'm done. I mean, I think that's the hardest part about UFC for me, is, like, when you know the replay's coming, and, like, we know the nature. Like, there's gonna be broken limbs in every single card, right? Like, someone's gonna break something, someone's gonna get TKO'd, something is going to happen that's physically brutalizing. That's why we're watching it partially, right? It's a blood sport, let's be honest. But like, the fact when you see something break and then they go, it's like the legs, like when I watched it with you, when you see a leg break and you watch them go to stand on it, like, that is the weirdest, most cringy stuff for me, and I cannot take it sometimes. But you know what? It couldn't have happened to a bigger asshole, right? Like,
I mean, sadly, that whole image is, I think, kind of torn, because he hasn't done well in his fights recently either. So it's
because he forced the issue with round 3, he's got 2 fat L's in 6 months right now. Because the first fight happened in what, January? February?
Yeah.
So it's July now. Like, in the half year, he's got 2 fat L's to the same guy. So I don't know how he's still talking shit, but that's his brand, I guess, right? That's Proper 12.
There's some good fights he could have with some influencers, that's for sure, if he wanted a quick payday.
Well, and the thing is, it's like, I think that a lot of people are saying, like, he's washed, he's done. You got to remember, Dustin and Conor are the same age. They're both 32. It's not like one career's waxing and waning, even though it kind of feels like that. McGregor just refuses to fight anybody but the top contenders, right? And it's clearly not working out. Like, he's lost a step down the road. So if he fights other people, he'll have good rounds. But right now, I would not be challenging for a title belt, homie. That is not your. It's not working out. Maybe Poirier's gonna go for the belt next, and I don't think you want anything to do with him.
Yeah, he's got the brand, and that's about it. Poirier deserves to get paid more, number one, but he deserves the title fight.
We'll see what Dana has to say about that. But all right, so let's do the either or game quick. We'll get through that. And we'll talk a little bit about the clip of the week, and then we'll do some All-Star week, and then we'll sign off. Yeah. I got a game to watch, brother. Game 4.
I know. We got time still, but yeah. First one. So last week we did Vikings. So of course, naturally, we're doing the Packers this week, as John alluded to. The first one.
Well, so just in case you didn't listen or you're not familiar.
Either
or, basically. So my thought is that you're kind of picking very popular, very impactful, very important players in a particular franchise from different periods of time, right? So, maybe a player from like the 80s versus a player from the 2000s, a player from the 90s versus 2010s, whatever. Very important players to a franchise, but at different times. And then you have to take one or the other. So, go ahead.
I'm hoping listeners can already guess one, but I'm going to start from the bottom. Sterling Sharp, receiver, and Devontae Adams. Either or. Who do you got?
This is really hard because I don't know. I think the big thing was that Sterling was playing with Favre when I started watching. Sterling was a fantastic player when I started watching. And honestly, I don't know if Favre has the same level of success early in his years without Sterling. So very, very important. The problem is, obviously, as everybody knows that watches Green Bay, injuries took away what was very likely to be a Hall of Fame career. Devontae, on the other hand, very, very healthy, had an interesting / difficult / frustrating first couple years when they had just a loaded wide receiver core, right? A fantastic top of the line, 5 deep receiver core, and he was probably the most maddeningly inconsistent. Like, you know what? Fans right now are complaining about like MVS dropping touchdown passes. That was Devontae like 6 years ago, 5 years ago.
He's turned it over.
I've never seen a guy drop more touchdowns right in his hands in the end zone in my life than Devontae Adams. And I'm sure if you go into my Twitter and my Facebook history, I'm sure there's some mean shit that I said about him. If I could only have one...
Rod? Research project, Rod.
If I could only have one... it's hard because Devontae's career is not done yet.
On.
I know, shush, this is hard for me. You pick the hardest ones.
You got some good players. One of them of which is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame later this year.
I think I have to go Sterling, even though his career was cut short. My rationale behind it is it's a pass friendly league, changes a lot of stuff. It's a pass friendly league, and the other thing is I don't know what Tay has left. I know what he's done.
Yep,
I don't know what he has left to do. He could drop off the face of a mountain. He could, God forbid, knock on wood, he could actually go down the Sterling route. He could have a career-ending injury. I don't know. I know what Sterling did. I know what he brought to the game. And I know that without him, his brother Shannon would not have had a fantastic NFL career. So I'm going with Sterling. Done.
Woodson or Leroy Butler? Not really same position, I guess, but kind of later in their...
They're both safeties.
Oh, yeah, Woodson.
Well, he converted to a safety. You know what? For this, one moment, please.
Oh. Listeners, Johnny has left the room. He has left the room, folks. This is crazy. What is he going to be bringing back? I think we know. I think he might have mentioned this for those that have stayed along. He mentioned this before, I remember, about always bringing this one picture for the house, hanging it above the mantle. Oh, yes, and here it is.
I think I brought this up on the show.
Yes,
but
it's a canvas print.
It's been in every domicile that I've been in.
For those listening, this is Charles Woodson, arms stretched out, must have returned a touchdown. I'm not sure when this was, but Johnny, paint the picture a little bit more.
No, it's the best gift I got from I don't want to say this, but it's the best gift I've gotten from a person that I don't talk to anymore. It's from an ex. It was the coolest thing I've gotten. I've got 3 Woodson jerseys. I mean, it's Chuck. Butler.
Chuck Woody.
For all the stuff that he's done for Green Bay, like his numbers and his accolades will never touch what Woodson did. So, Woody, that's easy.
All right, I had to get to this one. Rodgers or Favre?
I'm gonna have to slug you. All right, so because I saw these before the show, and I've actually been toiling with it every time you were quiet. I've been thinking about it. It's hard. Like I got the big Favre thing right. Like it's it's really hard for me to do this, but I think I have to go with Brett because again, it's maybe it's the nostalgia factor. The way things ended, I was salty for a long time. Like if you would have asked me this, even a couple years after the Vikings, those 2 seasons
makes the next one less, right? No.
Well, I don't know. I think it's Favre because I was learning how to read and I was watching Brett Favre. Like I was a child, I grew up with him. I got excited about him. He brought them back from the dead in the 80s when they weren't doing a damn thing. Mm-hmm. Got traded in 92 and it was, And you know what? He was kind of like Rodgers. Like he was kind of an ass. He was a little. he was our sarcastic little troll, But it's. Yeah. I think in his story too, right? Like he had the same agent his entire life, Bus Cook, out of Mississippi. I had my Wrangler jeans, man. Like, I'm sorry, no. But that being said, like it's 1A 1B. Like it's very very difficult. But if you put a gun to my head, I would probably take Favre.
It's funny how relevant QBs are afterwards and like their post careers.
Lasting effect,
but that's
brother.
That's a whole other topic.
All right, I'm hoping that from now on that this won't be so hard. You hit like big ones for me. You could have went really personal. Did like Amon Green versus.
I can bring back.
No, you can't. Nope, that was the last segment. Aaron Jones versus Amon Green. I mean, it's Batman. Come on. All right, clip of the week. So this was Giannis' post game after Game 3. I don't know. Before he signed the Supermax deal, and I was so scared he was leaving. This was like one of the things that's like made me. It didn't bring me to tears, but it's just like this is why I love the guy, because he's honest, he's humble, and he's hungry. You know, and I think this little segment kind of encapsulates all of that, right? So it's basically because he put up back-to-back 40-point games, and when the reporters mentions that, hey, Michael Jordan did the same thing versus the Suns in the finals, but he did it 4 games in a row. And so let's just take a listen. I could describe it for forever, but let's just take a listen.
And I know you said before you can't predict the future.
Yes.
But Michael Jordan had 4 straight 40-point games against the Suns in the NBA Finals.
I'm not Michael Jordan.
Is that in jeopardy?
I'm not Michael Jordan. 40 points in a straight 2.
4 in a row.
Yeah, no, I'm not Michael Jordan. But you know, all I care about right now is getting one more. That's all. You know, just take care of business, doing our job.
When you're compared with one of the best of all time, and your immediate reaction is like, nope, that's not me. I'm not Michael. I'm not MJ. Like, that's, I don't know. For me, like, it's very humble, but at the same time, like, he knows he's playing at a high level. He knows he needs to continue playing at a high level. He might not touch that record, but I think if they're going to win this series, he's going to have to get damn close.
Well, he alluded it at the end too. He's like, we just need to. Our focus is winning one more game.
And that's the mentality that you have to have. It's like, yes, technically you need 3 more, but you defend home, the homestand. You have to defend home court and then figure out the rest later, right? God forbid let's say Chris Paul, he messes up his shoulder again and he's done. Like, that doesn't matter. Like, you can't think about what might happen. You have to focus on what's going to happen. That game is happening tonight. So we will get to the last topic of the day, MLB All-Star Week. This is basically your random rant. This is your monologue. This is your segment. I will comment sprinkles in a little bit, but this is you. Go.
It's funny because I wanted to preface MLB All-Star Weekend with a question toward you.
Oh.
What did you watch? What parts of it did you actually watch?
Not a damn thing, man.
But that's kind of my issue with this, is that they don't really hype up the individual stars. You know, you still have players that are told to act a certain way and not, you know, strut a home run in fear of getting hit by the pitcher, or like there's still these unwritten rules that we've kind of gone over that I think has translated into more of like marketing, branding, how it happens nationally to really highlight these players. And that's why I think Ohtani being the face and the international star, that's huge. And I watched the All-Star game last night. The closer, Liam Hendricks was the closer, a former Twins pitcher, oddly enough. He pitches for it's not the Oakland A's anymore. So he closed the game out for the AL team. They won 5-2. But after the game, he talked about they interviewed him and a couple other players, but he talked about how the game has now become more international, and he wants, you know, he hopes that this gets more Australians to play, obviously first and foremost, but the impact that has been had in the Dominican, it's all that. It's like, why wouldn't you want Ohtani or somebody that's doing something pretty dang rare in this day and age, being able to pitch and hit? And he, like, not only did he start the All-Star game, starting pitcher, but he led off. That's insane. I don't think there's a stat for that. I don't know if that's ever happened.
Rod's just shaking his head and putting up. That's the kind of thing that, like, I got excited because one of our starting pitchers, Brandon Woodruff, like, he can occasionally make contact with the ball. It's not always great. He has a couple homers this year, but like, I get excited about that. Imagine him being the leadoff. Are you kidding me? You literally hop off the mound and grab a bat? What?
Yeah.
What? Is that
mental? I don't even know what that takes. And I didn't really watch much of anything else, and maybe that's another issue, is that they like get these guys in the celebrity softball game or something, or get them to compete against the celebrities that are in the softball
There's
game.
a lot of opportunity, which you're alluding to, that they're missing out on.
The players were mic'd up, like my boy Nelly Cruz for the Twins, who made the All-Star team.
Nobody knows who that is.
Nelson Cruz. Yeah, stop it.
I know Nelson Mandela. I know. That's the only one I know.
But it like having the players mic'd up during during regional broadcast games, like, would be a huge win, I think.
Yeah, there's a tasteful way to do the mic'd up. I think.
Yeah.
I think in basketball, especially in the playoffs, I think they've done a really good job. I think football, it's mostly just like grunting when they hit people. That no one cares about that. I just assume that they're grunting at all times. I don't need them. Like, oh yeah, I know. I saw him deck that guy. Like, I'm assuming he's grunting and might have pooped himself. Like, I don't need to hear it on the mic. Like the stuff on the sideline when they're talking each other up, like, that's what I want to hear. I want, like, they had Pat Connaughton mic'd up, which whoever thought to do that is insane, first of all. But it worked out because he's also one of the court leaders, right? Like, he's the one that people like pumping him up. He's getting everybody going. It's like, hey, like, honestly, like, he's not really a captain, but like, that's kind of like his secondary role, right? Like, he's kind of filling in for perimeter D because our boy's out, Dante, but at the same time, like, he's also a court leader. So, like, that I thought was it was really nice to hear because, honestly, I feel like a lot of games it feels like he's just standing there with picking his nose. So it's like it's nice to know he's doing other stuff and earning that contract, son.
All
right,
he got off on a tangent.
You do that to me, baby. You get me going.
But at the end of the day, it's like, what does baseball need to do? It's clearly they're in a dilemma, really, and they have been for some time, honestly. It's
and
like
they have the resources.
Rules.
They have the resources.
Yeah.
They have the tools. They have, endless possibilities. And it's like, we don't want to do Aces wiffle ball game. That's dumb.
Combination, yeah. Oh, that would be such a great thing.
One
to
day,
film,
my friend.
too.
One day.
Get drone footage of some shots, but either way, it's like there's such a disconnect, I think, and there's so much power that the owners have and the commissioner over the Players Association that.
Hold on, you don't like the commissioner of baseball? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You have a tattoo. You have a tattoo somewhere of him on your body, I think. All right, my friends. I think we've talked enough. I think we covered a lot. I'm pretty excited about that. We covered a lot. Got to talk about some cool stuff. We'll have a lot more next week. I might be in the pit of despair as the series ends, or I might not even be here. I might just like live in Milwaukee and just live in the Deer District. Who knows? I'm trying to
caught up that Potawatomi.
Gotta cash out. Load up.
Yeah, cash out the.
All right, that is our show. Thank you all so much for listening. Feel free to give us a like, a love, a comment, a rate, a share, whatever you can do.
Yes.
It's always nice to have some listeners giving us some feedback too. So feel free to leave a review if possible. We'd love to hear what you think. Hopefully it's good. If it's bad, I'll let Ace read it and he'll tell me about it. All right? Thank you, everybody. Have a fantastic week. Go Bucks, baby. Fear the deer. Beer. Later.
That's the show for this week. Check out Armchair Analyst on Twitter at AA Podcasts, on YouTube, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. If this wasn't enough, be sure to check out armchairpodcast.com for more. See you next week.